Strange, isn't it? Just a glance can stir up something ancient. Just a simple presence can make someone feel at home, even before we know their name. Maybe you've felt it, the silence. There, the gentle feeling that pulls you into the chest doesn't feel like attraction. It feels like nostalgia. Carl Jung did not believe in luck. He believes in synchronization, the mysterious connection between your inner world and your outer world. Moments that are not planned, but feel like they were written that day. This is not a story about romance. This is a story about recognition, about those who come not to stay, but to awaken. Those who come when your soul is ready, not when your mind is searching. Some people call it fate, some people call it energy. But deep down, the encounters. This is not by accident. They are sacred, because sometimes someone walks into your life, not to fill a void, but to open it. Let the light finally shine in. When something or someone really matters, the universe is not crashing through your door. It doesn't scream. It's whisper. No musicals, no butterflies in your stomach, just a moment of silence, a change in the air, a sudden stillness in your chest that makes you feel like the world just for a second forgot how to breathe. You meet them, and it's not fireworks, it's adrenaline. It's something much more haunting. It's familiarity, as if your soul is breathing out. Oh, there you are. Not because you've ever met them in this life, but because some hidden part of you still misses them, like an echo from a dream you've never fully woken from. Carl Jung once said, "Until you turn your subconscious into your conscious mind, it will direct your life and you will call it destiny." Maybe that's what these meetings are for. Not by accident, by design. Not because you chase them. Not because you're ready to be outside, but because something inside you is finally quiet enough to listen. The signs are not big. There are none. Neon lights guide the way, just gentle nudges, subtle tugs, a strange peace in their presence that your logic cannot explain and needs no explanation. Because real connection doesn't come from noise, it comes from knowledge. And sometimes that understanding is the only proof you can get. Not because it makes sense, but because it doesn't have to. And once the whispering begins, models will follow. You think about them, and the message comes. Not a few hours later, not the next day, right there, at that exact moment. It's as if the universe is listening to your thoughts and responding in its own quiet language. You are lost in your head, numb to the noise of the world, and then a song came on. But it's not just that. It speaks. The lyrics echo what your soul is trying to say, and suddenly, the silence inside you is broken. And then it happened again. You are walking through the crowd, no destination in mind, and somehow they are there. A face you know but shouldn't. Eyes find you as if they have been searching for you all their life. It doesn't feel random. It feels staged. It was like the whole world stopped for that very collision. Carl Jung calls this synchronization, a meaningful coincidence, events that are not causally related, but somehow it fits perfectly. Perfect, to the point that in fact they demand your attention. The deeper your awareness, the bigger the patterns. And they don't come from logic. They don't follow your plan. They come from somewhere older, from the memory of the soul. You see their name on license plates. You overhear strangers speaking their words. You find traces of them in places they've never been. That's not haunting. You don't search for signs. The signs are looking for you, because when your inner world begins to align, your truth, your desire, and your readiness, then the outer world will reflect that. Not to tease you, not to confuse you, but to wake you up. These synchronicities are not noise. They are invitations. Nudges. Small from something larger. drawing you to an inexplicable connection but refusing to be ignored. Because some souls, you don't find it by accident. Friends realize they go through the way the universe rearranges itself just to bring them back into your orbit. By now, you've gotten the hang of it. That quiet attraction, that synchronicity, that strange feeling of connection. But here's what no one tells you. The person you're attracted to isn't just them. To be you there, you don't love their faces or their voices. You love the part of you that wakes up when they're around. The part that sleeps, hiding, waiting. You see, we don't just connect with people. We matun them. Our hopes, our fears, our unresolved stories. Carl Jung called this projection, the unconscious act of seeing ourselves in others. And not only is our light illuminated, but our shadow as well. That is why some people feel obsessed. Not because they are perfect, but because they reflect the parts of us that we have forgotten how to love. Maybe they radiate a kind of freedom, exposing the cage you've built around yourself. Maybe their silence stirs up the pain of not being heard. Maybe their strength stirs up places where you still feel small. They not only provide warmth, they bring clarity. And clarity, when you live behind a mask, can be like fire. You don't just see them, you see yourself, friend, beneath your defenses. The raw one, the gentle one, the one who has been waiting to be held, not by another, but by your own awareness. This is why love at the soul level is never easy. Because it doesn't satisfy your ego, it confronts it. It doesn't just bring comfort, it brings transformation. And the transition was painful. But it's the kind of pain that creates something real, something whole. So when someone comes into your life and you feel more alive, more broken, be seen more than ever, stop. Not to ask, who are they to me? But whispering, who am I, in their reflection? Because maybe they didn't come to complete you. Perhaps they come to reveal what you have buried. And in doing so, they give you back to yourself. So you see the signs, you felt the pull, and now you're feeling pain. Not because they hurt you, but because something inside you is awakening. An awakening, no matter how beautiful, is never painless. When a soul connection is deep, it doesn't just stir your heart, it stirs your wounds. Wounds you've buried, wounds you call strength just to survive, wounds you tell yourself you've healed but never really looked at. They don't hurt you. Surname exposed, friend. They come into your life and suddenly all the walls you built to keep the pain out started shaking. The armor you wear with pride began to collapse. Not immediately, but slowly, really. And yes, it hurts. But that pain, it is not destruction. That is clarity. You are not broken. You are broken. Carl Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining images of light, but by perceiving darkness." This is that feeling. The tightness in your chest. The pain behind your smile. The moment you realize the love you're looking for is out there, always waiting inside you. Beneath the noise, beneath the fear. This is the sacred discomfort of transition. Because soul-felt love doesn't come to comfort your ego, it comes to purify your spirit, to show you what still hurts so you can stop bleeding in silence. So, no, pain is not punishment. That is proof. Evidence shows this is important. The proof is that it reaches you where no one else can. Evidence that your soul is shedding what is no longer useful. You may want to run away from it, paralyze it, rewrite it, but stay. Feel it. Because of pain like this, it only comes when something actually happens. And as you let it move through you, not around you, you begin to understand. This is not the end of anything. This is the beginning of friend. Some people come into your life as a mirror, but not the flattering kind, the exposing kind. Display, Carl Jung called it dark. the parts of you that you have silenced because they are not cute. Shortage jealousy, fear of too much or not enough. You've suppressed those feelings for years, buried them under ambition, independence, efficiency. You tell yourself you're strong. You say I don't need anyone. But then they came, and suddenly something inside you starts stirring, not gentle, but profound. You start to feel things are unreasonable. You be agitated. You think too much. You find yourself afraid of losing someone you just met. You wonder, what's wrong with me? Why am I like this? But this is not a collapse. This is the awaken. Because they don't cause chaos. Surnames disclose. They go straight to the parts of you that you never felt seen, and without trying, they light them up. This is the truth about destined love. It doesn't come to make you feel perfect. It makes you feel honest, to pull your shadow out of hiding, not to shame it, but to finally heal it. You begin to realize how quickly you give up on yourself, how much you fear intimacy, even when you crave it. You realize how many of your boundaries are actually just walls built out of pain. And this is the divine invitation. To stop performing, to stop pretending, to respond to your shaky parts with compassion instead of judgment. Destiny love does not come to decorate your life like a picture frame. It comes to rebuild platform, to break the lies so that what is real can finally breathe. So if someone has awakened the messy, raw, even scary parts of you, don't run away. You're not broken. You're falling into the truth of who you are. And that is where the healing process begins. We grew up with stories that said true love never leaves. But the soul knows something else. Some people come into your life not to stay with you forever, but to awaken the human part that is sleeping in you. They come like a spark, not to light your way forever, but to burn away everything that no longer serves you. They stir up emotions that you have numbed. They challenge the truths you think are fixed. They hold a mirror up to your deepest self and say, "Look, this is who you are. This is what you carry." And then they left. Not because love isn't real. It's not because you're not enough, but because the soul contract had a purpose, and it was fulfilled. Carl Jung said, the meeting of two personalities is like the contact of two chemical substances. If there is any reaction, both are transformed. That's it, a divine response. A union of two souls means meeting, colliding, and evolving. Yes, it hurts. Absence, questions, wondering what it all means. But this is not a failure. This is completion. Because not every spiritual relationship ends in being. Some end in becoming. They may not be walking into the future with you, but they shape the future version of you. So if you're holding on to someone who changed you and then disappeared, don't ask why they left. Instead, ask yourself, what did they awaken in me that I couldn't figure out on my own? Sometimes their departure is the ultimate lesson, a gentle release from a story that has served its purpose. This is not a loss. This is evolution. And one day you'll look back, not with longing, but with gratitude. Because they don't come to stay. They come to change your path, so you can finally become the person you always wanted to be. The universe is not moved by desire. It is unmoved by midnight prayers whispered from a place of fear. It doesn't send someone because you're lonely. It sends someone when you are ready. Despair does not attract fate. It attracts reflection. It's not about who you want, but where you still hurt. You will meet people who confuse you, ignore you, love you half-imperfect. And that's not cruelty. That is the curriculum. Because those who come when you are still bleeding are not meant to stay. They are meant to show you where healing has not yet happened. But then, something changed. After all the breakups, after all those quiet nights when you choose solitude over pursuit, After you finally stopped performing for love and started giving it to yourself, you start to feel it, a peace in the chest, a silence that no longer hurts, and that's when it happened. The right person will come, not to fill a void, but to accompany your wholeness. They do not break your peace. Surname realizes that, because they did that job too. They don't reopen your abandonment wounds because you no longer abandon yourself. They don't play with your heart anymore because you stopped betting on your own worth. This is what real connection feels like. Not chaos, not an addiction, just consonance. A soft hum. Like two souls that have wandered through their own storms and now meet in the silence that follows. No need, just a choice. And in that choice, there is power. Because you are no longer pursuing love, you become love, and the universe, it responds. Not with noise, but with connection. Not every encounter is accidental. Some people come not to stay, but to stir something ancient within you. They are mirrors, messenger, or the storm is sent to erase what is no longer useful. And some leave such a deep mark that your soul remembers them long after they are gone. So when someone comes into your life and everything inside of you changes, don't label it. Don't reduce it to logic. Stop, breathe, and ask the only question that really matters. What are they showing me about myself? Because the universe doesn't send people to complete you. It sends them to awaken you, to break your patterns, to ignite your healing, to guide you back to the truth that you forgot you brought it. And when the mirror has done its job, you will no longer feel empty. You are left with clarity. No regrets, but revelation, not the loss, but light. Because some souls don't change your life. They changed friends. And that has always been the point. If this message stirred something deep in you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to Echoes of Thought for more soul-deep insights. Like this video if it made you feel seen. Share it with someone who believes in more than coincidence. And in the comments, tell us, has the universe ever sent someone who changed everything? This isn't just a video, it's a mirror. And if it spoke to you, it means your soul is listening.